If you want to challenge me to do some dares in a future video, stick around for the entirety of this video to find out how. But why did you bring me to this creepy place?
This is your apartment.
Oh, yeah. But why are we playing Truth or Dare though?
The views.
Okay, yeah, that works for me.
So what'll it be? Truth or Dare?
Dare, of course.
I dare you to find 19 things you missed in the new movie Truth or Dare.
Okay, I mean, well, I was gonna do that anyway. Many of the first things you miss stem from the first truths and dares when Carter/Sam takes them to the mission to trick them into joining the game. I'll come back to Olivia's truth question later in this video because it leads into a bigger point that I want to make. But many of the questions that the friends ask each other are teasers into the cause of their untimely deaths. For example, Ronnie is challenged to lap dance a guy, and we see his hesitation to do a dare that makes him look bad. Later on at the pub, when Calix is the one daring him, his hesitation leads to his own demise. Lucas's dare is to go nude in front of everybody, which represents him making him sexually available to more than one person. He meets his fate when he's unable to choose which girl he has feelings for.
Dare me to choose which one of you to kill.
No! And then Brad is dared to make out with someone. He chooses a guy, which sets up his confrontation with his father, who's against homosexuality. This encounter sets up tension between the police officer and his son, and puts the other cops on high alert about Brad. In the end, one of the cops pulls the trigger on him too soon. Then we've got Tyson, who has to tell the truth about forging prescriptions to freshmen. He's basically asked the same question by Calix, only this time it's in front of someone who's interviewing him. He lies, and as a result, Calix makes him stab himself in the face. There's been a lot of that in movies lately, huh? And the last member of the group is Penelope. It's not so much the dare that exposes her weakness here, but the fact that she's super drunk when she does it. It's later mentioned that she has a bit of an issue with day drinking, so her dare shows the consequences of alcohol by making her walk the edge of the roof. It's important to note that she would have died if her friends didn't catch her here, but it didn't really matter in the end because she ends up getting shot like 4 minutes later, so I honestly don't know what the point of that was. But the main theme to take away from Penelope is that she gets drunk all the time and it causes her to do things she might not normally do. I'm also going to talk about how Calix's game maybe wasn't entirely a curse and could have actually been a blessing in disguise and helped the group. But first, let's talk about some Easter eggs. Truth or Dare has a lot in common with another recent Blumhouse movie, Happy Death Day. Did anyone notice that the layout of the sorority house in this movie is the exact same as the one in Happy Death Day? Now, it could just be that all sorority houses are laid out like this. I wouldn't know because I went to an art school, and I probably wouldn't have been invited to their parties even if I had gone to a university. But regardless, I'd say that there's a pretty good chance that they reused that Happy Death Day set for Truth or Dare. I also thought that the skull logo seen during many of the dares that's supposed to represent Calix looked a lot like Bughuul from Sinister. I know Jason Blum has talked recently about the possibility of a Blumhouse crossover movie, so maybe these films take place in the same universe. And one more Easter egg I caught was the character Carter, or I guess his real name is Sam. There's a good chance he was inspired by Hugh from the movie It Follows. The next 20 seconds have spoilers for It Follows. They both pretend to be interested in the lead girl in order to get their guards down and trick them into joining the curse, which really only buys them some time until it's their turn again. They both use fake names, abandon locations, and they both go into hiding after passing off the curse. Outside of the connections to other movies, there are also some cool visual references within the movie. In the living room, there's a giant 6-sided die. Not including Carter, who isn't really actually a part of the friend group, there are 6 people in the group. And after Ronnie's death, when they're discussing it, the number 5 faces out to the camera.
And now Ronnie?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe he was drunk and he fell off a pool table, which is what happened.
It's just a coincidence that he was supposed to be doing a dare?
Yes.
No.
In the med building where Tyson had the interview, a sign in the background talks about a whooping cough outbreak. I had to look this up after the movie, but it's essentially a disease that's highly contagious, but easily treated with modern medicine. To me, that's kind of like the Truth or Dare game itself. Highly contagious because it's easy to get other people involved, but easy to treat if you have no secrets to hide. That's one of the reasons I think this game could be a blessing in a way, rather than a curse. All of the truth questions could help make the character being asked a better person. And if you've got nothing to hide, then you've got nothing to worry about. The dares seem to prey on your biggest flaws, as I've already mentioned, so by making yourself a better, more honest person, you'd be less prone to the dares. Except for Brad. He kinda gets screwed over in the end. Maybe there's something I'm missing with him, But he also does kind of prove the point that the game can improve your life, because when Calyx forces him to come out of the closet to his father, he actually talks about how good it felt to finally have that off of his chest. I also think it would fit the theme of the movie better if he had ended up surviving in the end as an example of someone who improved their life by putting everything out on the table. If you look at any of the characters, they could have avoided the big issues if they had been more honest with each other. If Marky wasn't cheating on her boyfriend, she never would have had an issue and the whole feud with Olivia would have been avoided. And on the contrary, if Lucas was honest that he wasn't sure about Marky, then he never would have had to cheat on her with Olivia. And as a little side note, during that scene, Marky says she'd rather be anywhere but here, and goes to a little tortoise stand. So she decides to go get Mexican food after all the root of their problems in the movie just started in Mexico. You think maybe she'd try something else. But then of course there's this big reveal about how Olivia was there during Marky's father's suicide, which is actually kind of fair because she only kept that from Marky to protect her, and there was no reason to make her think badly of her deceased dad. Overall, Olivia is the most honest and caring person, so she's able to survive the game, for now at least. But there's actually one big lie that Olivia tells, and it's the thing I mentioned way at the beginning of the movie. So they just had their spring break trip, they don't want the night to end after partying in Mexico, and this guy Carter leads them to the abandoned mission to play Truth or Dare. Brad is still drunk at the time, and he asks Olivia an oddly specific question. He asks, if aliens invaded Mexico, and she had to choose between saving the friend group and saving the rest of Mexico, what would she choose? Everyone thinks she's gonna save the group, including her best friend, but that's not what she chooses. We're given the idea that she values the lives of many over her own. However, at the end of the movie, she's faced with essentially the same scenario. She can let her and Marky die and end the game once and for all, or she can challenge the entirety of her YouTube audience and endanger the lives of her 4.5 thousand subscribers. Or let's face it, with the current state of broken YouTube notifications, more like 200 people would actually be in danger. But still, she chooses the subscribers. She makes the selfish choice. At the beginning of the movie, she's this caring person who wants to build homes for people and save strangers over herself, but at the end, she does just the opposite. I don't know if that's a result of her ideals changing to become more selfish, or if she was just lying to herself and her friends at the beginning. But whatever the answer may be, there's one thing about this movie that I find disgusting. The fact that this supposed YouTuber sells out her subscribers' lives for her own gain. I mean, I may be kind of twisted, but I would never do that to you people. First of all, if you kill off your subscribers, your views are gonna go down. And secondly, you're supposed to treat your subscribers like royalty by delivering quality content and having engaging discussions in the comments. You know what, it's no wonder she has 4.5 thousand subscribers. She treats them like crap. We only see her post once during the course of this film, which takes place from spring break, which is usually in March or April, to at least June 7th, which is a date shown on Olivia's phone like 3/4 of the way through the movie. And then it actually goes past that. So that's like 3 to 4 months without posting. I mean, there is a demon trying to kill her, but if it was me, I'm just saying I wouldn't miss an upload. I mean, there's no excuse for this girl to be that attractive and not have close to 1 million subs. Your content can be literally terrible if you look good, and as long as you post often, you'll make it. It's been proven time and time again. The rest of us have to work hard. And do I sometimes ask you to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram? Yeah. Do I ask you to like this video if you enjoyed the content? Sure. Do I put links to my merch and ask you to consider supporting the channel by picking up one of these cool designs? Sometimes I do. But have I ever done something to put your life in danger? No. And when I say assuming we both survive at the end of every video, I at least kind of hope you actually do, because I love seeing your input in the comments. You know what, I don't like this Olivia character. What a bad YouTuber. Because I actually care about my fans, I'm gonna offer you this. Leave your own truths and dares in the comments, and I'll take the highest rated ones and make a video answering the truths and doing the dares. I have just 3 rules. I won't do anything illegal, I won't delete any content, and I won't spend a bunch of my own money. In return, my only dare for you is this. I dare you to subscribe to CZsWorld for new horrors every week, ring that death bell for notifications, and I'll see you in the next one, assuming we both survive.